What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Feast, episode 89, the show where you submit replays and we cast them. I am Delthius. How's it going, guys? It's been a little while, huh? Been a little while. I've had the itch to cast. I'm excited. Got some good games lined up here tonight. Yeah, man. We got the new patch going now. The Strawberry Tournament was pretty recent. And on the horizon, we got a couple things coming up. My boy P-Boop, aka Premium Bow, has been working really hard on a tabletop RPG set in the Tooth and Tail universe, and finally, pretty recently, came out to the public with it and invited everybody to check it out, man. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, take a look under the Tooth and Tail events section on the channel you're watching right now. I updated that a little bit. There's a link there for the Discord for the tabletop RPG. And also, Gentlemen's 21 Rooms was recently announced. Another really interesting gentleman-style tournament. This time around, it's kind of pretty complicated. There's a little bit of like a board game element to it. There's Guardians, there's Challengers trying to go through, Raiders, I believe we call them. And that's going to be a lot of fun. The first episode of that's actually going to be on Sunday. Big Pimpin' Tosh is going to be streaming that. Other than that, I've been good. Speaking of Pimpin' Tosh, he's here in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see everybody. Yeah, I can't complain. Just been hanging in there, working a lot, doing this and that. I don't have a whole lot else to really go over. I just wanted to check in. It's been a while. How long? When's the last time I did a feast? I feel like it's been a while at this point. When was episode 88? Last month? Alright, about a month ago. I don't mind doing this a little more often, guys. Just send in replays at ToothAndTailTV at gmail.com. And by public demand, I will stream more and more. But anyways, I guess that's enough preamble. Without further ado, let's hop into it. I'm excited that Vincent and Bratmo have been submitting again. That's really cool. If you're a long time Tooth and Tail nerds, been watching for a while, been playing for a while, you'll know for quite some time we started off every match or every show with Vincent versus Bratmo match, and lately they've been sending them in, so trying to keep that tradition going. And without further ado, I suppose let's hop right into it. Match number 1. Alright, spawning in the bottom right in the red, we've got Vincent. And his opponent to the left, Bratmo. Alright, Bratmo, my hero already. No core tier 1 here. Typically what we mean by that is like squirrel, lizard, mole. Rather, he's just rocking the toads, so that's really cool to see. I wonder if you'll be able to make that happen. Meanwhile, Vincent's going a bit more traditional of a route. I think pigeons are fairly decent this patch. Artillery cannons been getting some play from what I hear. I've been excited. I might actually play some Tooth and Tail later. I got guests over at the moment, so I was debating like maybe streaming some tonight, but who knows? I might do some rank streaming before too long. But we do have that Boar Badger matchup in the tier 3 slots. Lots of defense here from Bratmo. I'm really kind of curious. All right, hang on. I was on Team Bratmo here, but Vincent just put down a 6 farm tier 2. So this game is already insane to me. Lots of cabins right here by Vincent. That could be a little bit of a pain. The Chameleons will be able to deal with that really effectively, not lose any units and knock that out. Most of the time when you take out a cabin, you'll lose like a squirrel or something, but the Chameleons will guarantee nothing lost. And Bratmo must be feeling like something is up. He's already made a turret. He probably got spooked by seeing the low farm count from Vincent, if I had to guess, and thought maybe Mole Warren was somewhere on the horizon, so... not really sure what's going on yet is Bratmo. He comes in and now he gets a scout. He sees a quick tier 2 Warren. He sees that it is 8 farm. I'd like to see him go home and maybe sell off these turrets. But then again, these turrets will come in handy with this little bit of a chameleon rush that we've got going on from Vincent here. And Bratmo's got his own chameleons on the way, but it looks like Vincent is going to try to position his chameleons to take out this Warren. Bratmo knows what's going on, but can't do anything about the stealth units. Nice sell there on that Falcon War and getting that full refund. And Vincent backs out for now. The turret's actually coming in handy a little bit for Bratmo here. And trying to get up into that Falcon count. And meanwhile, Vincent just decides to head home. No harm, no foul. I think Vincent's probably in a better spot, it feels like to me. Simply because of this large investment into MGs in the early game here from Bratmo. But Bratmo is expanding now. I'm trying to think, like... I'm not sure if Bratmo's memeing or if he's like... You know, big brain 4D chess, you know, some new kind of deck style, or if he just hit that random button and said go. But man, the no squirrels is really I've been absent from the scene for like a month, and I come back and first game we got no squirrels here. So let's see what ends up happening. Bratmo just trying to get up to that 2-farm economy. I think what he wants to do is invest early on into these tier 2 units that, you know, typically take a little bit longer to get up and running, and then maybe sprinkle in the toads later as needed. And you can always get into that badger eventually, or maybe even try to set up like a large wall of balloons. Meanwhile, Vincent, you know, has a little bit more of that tried and true composition. You know, getting a lot of chameleons though, I gotta say. I gotta be honest, I'm so confused right now. All these campfires are helping. It's kind of like 1.5 base, you know. Getting 3 farms here without having to invest into a gristmill. A little bit of money saving, but Vincent will eventually have to get a second base. I really like campfires in a very specific situation, which is where I want to do like a 1 base all in, but I want a little bit of extra oomph for my economy, you know. Like that's where the campfires really shine. But it's going to be difficult for Vincent to really take a second base anywhere on this map, to be honest. And lots of Falcons coming in. There are enough squirrels to kind of deal with this at the moment. And it looks like Vincent maybe be trying to set up a flank. And yeah, that was pretty bold from Bratmo there, trying to get those connections. But without any units to support those toads, they're just going to get mowed down. Another toad goes down, and this game is looking better and better for Vincent, who's just going to come in here with 6 chameleons and just try to YOLO down this gristmill. He is going to get it. He's going to lose basically all of his chameleons, though. 1 remains. 1 lives to tell the tale. Gets to go home and get a Medal of Honor here. But other than that, you know, there's a lot of tier 1 here, which is very tried and true. Let's see how this engagement goes down. These Falcons got to stay alive for Bratmo. The chameleons in the front doing a good job tanking. Some of these toads will connect, but just the raw power of the, you know, that core tier 1, the squirrel. You could really tell made a big difference there. And now Vincent's in a great spot, you know. You got to keep in mind the farm count up top is a little bit misleading with these campfires here. So Vincent's economy is in a much better spot than Bratmo at the moment. He's got a very strong standing army. Maybe if we just had some really baller connections here with the toads, but nice micro back from Vincent. These toads are not going to get the connections that they're looking for. And I think Vincent's just going to be able to clean it up from here. Cool idea from Bratmo. I think this is like a random deck or something. I'm not sure. Ooh. You know, these chameleons are getting low, but it is a little too late. The nail in the coffin's already been established here. Bratmo looks like he's about to tap out. Really cool game 1. But yeah, that's going to be all she wrote. Well, that was interesting. I feel like I'm as confused as everybody else. Alright. Let's keep this sucker moving. Match number 2. Let's get into it. Alright, in the right, we've got Blue Coon. And his opponent to the left, this guy. Alright, now Blue Coon doesn't have squirrels. What's going on? What's going on here? Is this just some kind of like cosmic coincidence that both these matches in the row didn't have squirrel or lizard for one of the players? Or is this some kind of meta that people are trying to experiment with? I doubt the latter. I feel like Bratmo and Blue Coon are both being a little silly here, but we'll see. We'll see. Blue Coon's got a lot of tier 2, but you know, when you go for 3 tier 2, normally what you're sacrificing is either that defense slot or that tier 3 slot. You know, you don't typically sacrifice the squirrels. Meanwhile, this guy just has a really tried and true, pretty standard looking deck here. From what I've heard, the Badger isn't as powerful these days, but it's still a Badger. With some good micro and some good support, the Badger is definitely a powerful unit. No squirrels isn't impossible. A lot better than it used to be, says Big Pimpatosh. Yeah, I could, apparently. You know, Blue Coon's a great player, so... I know Finson and Bratmo just kind of like to mess around, but Blue Coon is pretty try-hard for the most part. Tries to get a mole rush going there on that high ground, but decides against it at the last moment. It's just going to come home and maybe go into double tier 2. No, just going to build some moles here on the back. And well, I guess let's think about it, right? Like, moles are pretty good on the front line. However, the squirrels engaging into them are going to get a decent advantage since they have that range on them. But maybe with things like skunks and ferrets to back you up, that can make enough of a difference. And this map looks pretty decent for Blue Coon, too. You know, he's got a lot of expansion options right here in his front yard. He's got a nice, pretty defendable high ground here. It's a shame he doesn't have a little ramp into this high ground. And that's one of those things where it's like, even if it's not necessarily the best spot to put something like an artillery cannon, like, you just got to do it. I mean, the map has spoken. Meanwhile, things look fine over here for this guy, too. You know, maybe even arguably better since he does get the campfire, and this guy is known for his patented, you know, early skunk timing push aggression, and something like a campfire is fantastic when you're kind of doing a one base committal. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say that's like an all-in that this guy usually brings out, but it's a commitment, you know. It's something you can transition out of, though. You know, you kind of come in, you test the ground with a lot of tier 1 with your skunks, and then after that, you know, you can transition if you want. Nice little trickeroni there from this guy. I wanted to throw down a pretty quick Badger. Cancels it as a scout comes in and shows that he's building tier 2 instead, and then right after Blue Coon leaves, goes ahead and places it back down. So a little bit of false information here for Blue Coon. However, I feel like he's still getting the right units, at least for his deck, to deal with something like a Badger push, since he is getting up that Falcon count. And Falcons, you know, if you have the right numbers and the right engagements, can come in and just kind of bop down a unit like a Badger pretty quickly. So let's see, is this guy just going to go ahead and expand? Like, normally the pressure, if he was going to go for a pressure build, he would have moved out by now. He's just going to come over, and he's going to see Blue Coon's playing very passive, getting that artillery cannon up. Already has the second base. He's got several tier 2 here to his name. This guy got all the information he needs. Meanwhile, has Blue Coon re-scouted yet? No, it doesn't. Well, he did re-scout, but he didn't quite get up into this tier 3 and see that the Badger Warren was being made. So I feel like Blue Coon's putting a lot of eggs in this artillery cannon basket. And oftentimes I kind of like this sort of thing. You know, if you're going to invest in this expensive defense, you might as well get something out of it by getting some farms. And Blue Coon going to try to come in for the scout again. And finally he's going to see that tier 3 Warren, but might be a day late and a dollar short as the Badgers hit the field now, which is going to trigger the move out from this guy. Doesn't decide to pick up that campfire on his way out. Instead, I guess he just wants to save his money for reinforcements as needed. And he's got to try to find a good angle. Now, the artillery cannon range is probably strong enough to even hit around that little stump of a tree if he tries to come in from this side. But this guy is going to try to get out of there. And, oh man, with the high ground vision, does the Badger have the range? He could be a jerk and try to abuse this ledge. That's exactly what he's going to do. Nice tactics there, but no, he's going to move forward just with the Badger, try to bait Blue Coon to come out of position here and engage the army. The big engagement's going down. And does Blue Coon have the target fire for the Badger? The Badger is getting really low, but the Pigeon support here is enough to keep it up. However, a lot of the other units from this guy have fallen. This ground army is kind of getting decimated by the artillery, but Blue Coon's really got to keep these Falcons alive. That is the puzzle piece here to solve this Badger problem. You know, if these Falcons start dying, he's not going to have a chance in this game. He really needs to get out a few more. You know, 5 Falcons or so can really jump in on a Badger and knock it out. However, a lot of the support units for this Badger have gone down. If this guy's looking a little desperate, maybe thinking about hopping in on that artillery cannon, but drives away. And now the Badger is totally vulnerable by itself, but the micro from this guy is good enough to keep it alive. A very nice hold here for Blue Coon. Keep in mind, he did invest in that artillery, but I think that artillery paid for itself and more here. Managed to keep most of these Falcons alive. And has a healthy second base up and running. And we're well past that 5-minute mark, so this guy's economy is totally in shambles, especially because he chose not to grab that campfire earlier. And now Blue Coon's building up that critical air army. He's got the moles on the ground to help buffer against the squirrels. Really, the moles are here mainly, it feels like, to soak damage, to kind of get the squirrels to target that mole over the Falcons and give the Falcons a breathing room to try to bop down that Badger really, really quickly. But he needs to be careful to not get kited backwards here. Gonna head home for now. And yeah, I think Blue Coon's in a good spot where he could just kind of chill for a moment and macro up a bit. And yeah, that push didn't work out for this guy. And yeah, Blue Coon did get that second base up and running, but he kept the tier 3 unit alive, and that's what's really important. If that Badger would have died in that engagement, that probably would have been GG. But since that Badger stayed alive, it's got enough muscle to keep Blue Coon at bay, at least for the time being. And I wonder how long it's going to be until Blue Coon starts feeling a little froggy, tries to maybe take this base and maybe leapfrog forward another artillery cannon. This guy's trying to get some harassment done with this Badger, but, you know, kind of thinks about it and then thinks twice about it and heads back home. It's nice to try to use your actions, you know, when you don't have to macro on things like harassment and micro. But I think this guy's making the right call here, kind of playing it safe, and the longer this game goes on, the less the differential between them is really going to matter. Here's that leapfrog artillery cannon I was talking about. Blue Coon probably wants to wait for this one to get established before taking the expansion and selling off the old one. But this guy is trying to make sure that doesn't happen, but I don't think he can do anything about this. That's a lot of Falcons in the air. These moles coming forward, getting kited back. Nice control from this guy there to not detonate any of those toads. These Falcons are starting to shred through this guy's army. The Badger getting very low, and it's all alone. Blue Coon gonna pull back. Very smart decision making there. It's so easy to overextend in Tooth and Tail. You know, you might as well just come home. You know, you had a successful engagement. Come home, let those Falcons heal up, reinforce with a couple more moles. More and more pigeons here. So many pigeons. The pigeons don't stack as much as they used to, so, you know, obviously this guy's a much better player than I am, but it seems like a lot of pigeons here. This artillery continuing to zone this guy back. Really building his warrants far forward. It's going to be nice for a little bit of a, yeah, he kind of decides maybe those are a bit too far forward, okay. I was going to say, it's nice to have them out here for reinforcement distance, but you don't want to get those like within earshot of that artillery cannon, you know. It makes it really easy for the Falcons to come in and harass them. And speaking of the Falcons coming in, Blue Coon's committing pretty hard here, but the Badger is revved up. However, it doesn't really have many more supporting units left. Oh, 4 HP, 3 HP, this guy. And all the Falcons went down. That was an overcommitment here for Blue Coon. And now this is looking fantastic for this guy. Ah, that's so frustrating. 3 HP on that Badger, man. That is rough stuff indeed. But I think Blue Coon was following a good game plan, kind of taking successful engagements and backing out, and that time he got a bit greedy and tried to push the issue after starting off pretty well, you know, knocking out most of those support units, knocking out some Warrens. You know, when someone's got some pretty good micro like this guy does, that might be the answer to dealing with the Badgers. You know, you might not directly kill the Badger, but if you kill the supporting units enough over and over, you're eventually going to starve your opponent out. And on top of that, it's going to be really difficult for this guy to take a third, but I'm not sure if I should even be talking about third bases, as I'm not so confident we're even going to get there this match. This guy's still really on top of the Badger micro, just shredding through so many units. Blue Coon doesn't quite have that critical mass needed to really be a threat to this Badger as it comes in over and over. And again, you know, ooh, getting so close. I think it took a couple artillery shots there. But this guy is not letting that Badger go down. So there is a third base prospect here for Blue Coon, but he hasn't saturated yet. And since he got that second base so much faster than this guy did, this guy's economy has pulled ahead, as a few of those second base farms for Blue Coon have already mined out here. This artillery is absolutely shredding the ground force here from this guy. Just squirrels and toads going down left and right. He's trying again to get that right number of falcons to be able to try to doof upon this Badger. I don't think I would have even hated like a second artillery here, you know. But I agree, you can't afford it anymore. I think this game really started going downhill for Blue Coon when he overcommitted. That's probably what you see in the graph right there, that big downhill, you know, steep decline. This guy's finally going to get in here and scout this third base, but it's probably not too worried about it since no farms have been committed. Blue Coon is just throwing whatever he's got into his army at the moment as he needs to. Otherwise, this guy, you know, such a good player like him will easily smell blood in the water and come in and finish you off if you're not careful. And this guy finally taking a third base, actually in a little bit of a safer spot than I might have given it credit for originally. Man, more and more Falcons going down. Alright. This guy transitioning again. Trying to think of the right composition here between squirrel, toads, and pigeons, trying to get that right balance, but phenomenal micro in control so far this game with this Badger. However, 6 Falcons is starting to get up to that number where it's threatening, but this guy doesn't really need to continue to push in here. You know, he can certainly come in and harass with the Badger and try to pull it back in the nick of time like he has been. But overall, he can just hang out and invest more and more into this third base, and Blue Coon's starting to do the same over here. We're kind of getting back to the Stone Age as far as economy goes, but both sides have been able to keep their critical units alive, the artillery and the Falcons for Blue Coon, and this guy still hasn't lost the Badger this game. Now he's going to simply walk up here. He sees an angle. Blue Coon doesn't have the units in necessarily the right position. He controls the high ground here, can easily take this fight away from the artillery cannon and go to the third. However, he would be hard committing. Decides against it for the time being. And this game is crazy. Alright, Badger moving forward, coming back. A little bit of poking and prodding here. And this guy looks like he wants to commit now. He's coming into the high ground. Is he going to pull his force away from the arty and just say, I own this now? I think the Badger should have range. Yeah, especially on the ledge down there, if not right here. Yeah, I think right here it'd have range. Maybe not. Oh, but Blue Coon's just going to go for the counterattack. Oh, man, I think if Blue Coon would have committed, the Badger was in the perfect position for the Falcons to kind of leap on it. However, Blue Coon decided to back up instead, giving this guy the opportunity to absolutely mow through all of his forces. And that's going to be that. A really cool back-and-forth game. But this guy, with some great control, going to take it. Okay, I got a submission from the schoolyard bully himself, the meme machine. Let's hop into it. In the bottom left, we've got the one and only Jet Erickson. And his opponent to the top right, Vonius. Sounds right. Sounds like I said that right. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, pretty interesting comps here. Both players with Falcon Chameleon Turret. But Jet rocking those lizards. And again, we see third match in the row where players, where we have one player in the game who does not have squirrels. So maybe this is just the new thing. And I'm old and I can't keep up with the yeeting kids. 5-farm lizard here from Jet. Gets immediately scouted from Vonius. Gonna sell, yeah, I was gonna say maybe you could maybe get it and be okay, you know, not selling that farm, but it goes ahead and gonna be a bit safer. This one lizard will come up, which you don't think is a threat on paper, but we've seen through guys like Mishi, you know, you can really get some work done with one lizard at the right angle. Jet trying to find that angle, does force a sell, but doesn't take any income for it. However, Jet's not super committed here. He is farming up fairly nicely. Gonna go ahead and queue up that last farm. So he's got a nice set of 3 lizards to try to poke and prod around. Keep in mind, Vonius does have the squirrels up, which are fantastic on defense, especially in situations like this. But there are a few attack paths, I guess. I thought this was a little bit more exposed here in the back line for Jet, or for Vonius, rather. But Jet could maybe come to the left, come to the right, bob and weave a little bit. Overall, this looks like a tough map for Vonius, especially against a lizard player. There's a lot of open space here. There's a couple different entrances. You know, imagine Vonius tries to expand down here. Jet can kind of come up into the path that he's at right now with big pack of lizards, try to get something done. This 12 o'clock base is going to be rough for Vonius to take due to the way that the terrain is around there. There's not really an easily accessible ramp. And Jet's just going to move into some chameleons. Meanwhile, Vonius going into that classic squirrel toad, which should fare nicely against lizards. However, Jet hasn't super committed to lizards yet. As I say that, he throws down a couple more warrens. But with good micro, which Jet certainly does have, you could always build a couple mole warrens, you know, try to position them to where they tank the toad shots, and then move forward with the lizards. I'm not sure what the current state with Chameleon versus Toad is. And in some balance patches, it's like, I want them to detonate on the Chameleons, and other ones you don't, but they are going to get some big detonations here. However, 6 Toads to kill 1 Chameleon seems like a nice engagement here from Jet. Some good micro there, pulling that weakened Chameleon back into the shadow in the nick of time. And more tier 1 here from Vonius. You know, Squirrel Toad can work in this situation, but you gotta really get the right connections with those Toads. And Jet's not overcommitting with Chameleons. I think in, like, if I have, like, 2 Chameleons, you know, I probably am fine with the Toads hitting them, but once they start to pack up in larger numbers, like 4 or 6, you know, that Toad AoE damage can really start gaining some value there. But yeah, still 1 base from both players. And lots of tech coming in here for Jet. Badger Warren is down. Vonius looks like they're trying to save up for something. I was thinking maybe the Owl, but goes for the Falcons. I think that's a more realistic play at this phase in the game. Get some Falcons here on the back line to help deal some damage, seal the deal in these fights. A little bit of downtime here. Jet doing a good job with his money, making sure not to block that Badger's production. Second base being taken here for Vonius. Jet knows exactly what his opponent's up to. Hasn't seen the tier 2 Warren, but that's not really out of the question at this point. Something like that. Meanwhile, I don't think Vonius has gotten the scout off on the tier 3. Still a little bit in the dark here. Goes ahead and checks that 12 o'clock base to just make sure Jet isn't trying to do anything cheeky, like take a sneaky base on him. Finally going to come in here, is going to see that second base just now taken. Doesn't commit too hard to their own second base. But once this Badger is up, it's going to be pretty rough for Vonius, I feel like. He doesn't quite have the Falcon numbers he needs. Maybe if he gets phenomenal connections. There are 4 chameleons here, so maybe these toads could hit like everything and do a ton of damage. Some okay connections there. But the lizards are alive. The chameleons tried to tank the toads, but yeah, I think those connections worked out very nicely for Vonius. I think that kind of was what I was talking about a bit earlier. Like, 2 chameleons, I don't really want my toads to crash into them, but 4 chameleons, a little more, but more reasonable. However, that is 12 toads. And now we have this badger. And Vonius really doesn't have the swift units or the raw burst DPS to deal with this thing. Let's see if he can make it happen, though. Badger harassment coming in. Vonius just now knows about the badger. Still was never able to get that scout that they needed. Nice turret placement there. I like that a lot on that high ground. Jet doesn't have any kind of flying vision or high ground vision here, so that will be good defensively. Players kind of posturing. Now, if this game drags out, Vonius is taking this second base economy a bit faster, but I don't feel like it's enough of a difference to really matter, right? We'll see. Jet doesn't know about the turrets there now. Gets a scout in on those farms on the second base. Decides to throw down a couple more of his own. And Vonius finally putting down this Owl Warren. Badgers historically have done well against Owls. However, the Owl can still get a lot of value on the in-between skirmishes. You know, if there aren't hard commitments, those few mice coming in every now and then, you know, killing a couple lizards, maybe picking up a chameleon or something really adds up over time. And Jet hasn't seen it. Even though it is in a pretty exposed spot. But I honestly don't mind that spot, to be frank, because if Jet manages to get over here in a position where he's really threatening it, it's like he's probably winning anyways. I was curious if maybe there's like a ramp right there he can get around and go to town on, but no. Ooh, those toads detonations actually hurt a bit for Vonius, keeping that Owl production blocked a little longer. Nice little micro here from the chameleons. Ooh, gonna lose 1 cam only. That's a lot of toad detonations for just 1 chameleon, and now he's gonna crush forward this tier 3. 180 food invested in that, not helping Vonius right here, right now. The Badger's all that remains, but that's all you need. Rambo style coming in here. Gonna knock out that second base. Gonna deny that tier 3. And does the Badger make it out? It looks like it will. And poor Vonius has to tap out there. Some great control from Jet. Alright, so that's 3 games in a row where we've seen somebody without squirrels. 2 Badger games. Okay. Let's keep this train chewing. Match number 4. In the right, we've got Protocam, rocking that double tier 3, and on the left, we've got Emperor Azvra. The very interesting comp. Got the fox here. Got some snakes and chameleons. Really reptilian comp, you know, chameleon, snake, lizard. Well, Protocam's been getting it back into it, hasn't he? I think he's been doing some streams and that sort of thing lately. Alright, let's see how these players want to open up. Gotta be pretty happy if you're Protocam with this spawn. You know, you got that quick campfire you can take for that supplemental 1 base economy. You've got this second base here, you know, pretty decent. Meanwhile, things look pretty good for the Emperor. Again, has a pretty accessible campfire. He's got a nice second base on this high ground here. If they decide to go for this like turret, fox, snake kind of siege style, they could probably really abuse this high ground. Because I feel like Protocam most likely is going to expand here, right? But hold that thought. We do have some quick lizards here from Emperor, but not really quick enough for me to be too worried about it. It looks like 7 farm lizard. Protocam should be able to get home and get defenses up in time. No big deal. But yeah, you know, the more I'm looking at this map, the more abusable it looks for a green player here, because this high ground, you know, imagine this is the base Protocam takes as the natural. Turrets, you know, once this base is taken, this territory here is going to expand out. You're going to be able to put turrets here fairly easily for your units like your snakes, chameleons, falcons, even lizards, I suppose, to kind of bounce in, harass, and then bounce back out to the safety of the defense. So I wonder if that's going to drive Protocam. Wait, Protocam! 8 farm, tier 3. Well, not really. 8 farm, double tier 1 into tier 3. This is the way I used to build Fox way back in the day. If you did that build, I don't think it works anymore, but there was a while where you could do like a 1 base tier 3 push by going 8 farm, double tier 1 into tier 3, into double tier 1. It looks like Protocam's doing something similar. I don't think Emperor saw it though. Yeah, Emperor doesn't really know what Protocam's up to. And this quick Badger, we're gonna see Badger seal the deal on another game. Let's find out. And I don't really blame Protocam for doing something crazy like this. Again, this map is kind of rough for him. You could try to do something like take this 12 o'clock, you know, but getting spread out like that against lizards isn't really advisable. So yeah. Yeah, I think Emperor is just about to be blindsided by this Badger. The snakes are going to help. And lizards do help too, since they're swift. They don't get kited as easily. Especially if the snake can get some poison tags, get that daze going, slow down that Badger. But Protocam is about to pull the trigger here. Is he going to take this 12 o'clock, or is he just checking? You know, he decides to take it. I mean, it makes sense to me, but it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Again, because these lizards and this kind of Emperor is already controlling the middle of the map, so it's going to be very easy for Emperor to bob and weave back and forth. But I'm not sure if that's even going to matter, because Protocam is coming out right here, right now, with a very threatening push. And these snakes are just gonna go down, like, before the Badger even gets there. However, this one snake is a hero! Oh my god, what did we just see? The snake had like 2 HP and got like 3 or 4 tags on the Badger. Oh man. I thought we were gonna go to the next match, but Emperor's hanging in here. I think Protocam just maybe thought they were in a better spot than they were, right? Like, I think Protocam was targeting down the farms there. And this is looking real good for Emperor now. Very big economic lead. Kind of map positional advantage as well. And I feel like Protocam's kind of backed into a corner, to be honest. Emperor's going to move forward. Going to be a little hard to attack up that high ground, especially without any flying units to grant vision here. Man, I can't believe that snake. I was so high, I was like, well, maybe Emperor's got a chance. I got some snakes, but both those snakes got doofed down right at the beginning with that 2 HP snake. And somebody needs to write a poem about that thing. It needs to be memorialized. We need to build a statue of that nerd. Alright, Protocam's got another very strong army here. However, this is kind of the last hurrah. If this push doesn't work for Protocam, he's not going to really have the income to try to do it again. But might just have enough muscle. This Badger getting poisoned, but the pigeons are here this time to reinforce. And Emperor's army is just getting annihilated. This might be too much damage. The Fox is on the way, which would have been cool to see here, but it's just not going to have enough time for it to get up and running. Taps out, Protocam takes the game. Okay. So every match tonight, we've seen one player without squirrels. And I think 3 of them, we saw victories on the back of the Badgers. I'm trying to gauge the current meta. Of course, it's hard to do. You know, this show isn't necessarily a try-hard broadcast, you know, like one of the tournaments or something. But a lot of these players are pretty great. So definitely worth taking out the notepad and looking at builds or deck compositions. I do want to do a little bit of shout outs again, guys, for a couple of things coming up in the community. Premium Bo, he's been working really hard on his tabletop RPG that's set in the Tooth and Tail universe. It's a lot of fun. I played a few rounds of a campaign with the boys a while back while he was still prototyping it, but he did officially release it to the community. Hop in that Discord if you enjoy Tooth and Tail and you enjoy tabletop games. It seems pretty active. I think there's a lot of tables going on and stuff, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to find a group and get down on rolling some dice. You can find that Discord link in the Tooth and Tail events section under the stream you're watching right now. Additionally, the gentleman is back at it again with another crazy tournament. We've got the 21 rooms this time around, which is a little bit more of a board game strategy style mix on top of just traditional, Tooth and Tail matches. It's kind of split up into like Raiders and Guardians. I've kind of skimmed the rules. I haven't really dove super deep into them just yet, but the way I understand it, the Raiders are trying to come into the Lost Temple, the Pyramid, and find treasures and destroy Guardians. They have a lot of decision-making and strategy on where they go and when. Meanwhile, the Guardian position, I think, is a little more straightforward. You kind of, you're sitting there defending rooms and that sort of thing. So definitely sign up for that, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be casting some of it. Big Pimpin' Tosh, a.k.a. Woody Punch 7 on Twitch, is also casting it. I think it's getting started here shortly, so if you're interested in that event, definitely sign up soon. I think the first chapter is scheduled for Sunday over on Woody Punch 7 stream. So that's going to be a ton of fun. I really enjoy these events. The community always comes out and supports it. We normally get some great participation, and they're always a blast. So don't be shy, guys. Any skill level. If you're interested in the game, definitely try to sign up for that. Or if you like D&D and tabletop type stuff too, and role playing, give Premium Bo's campaign a shot as well. Speaking of Premium Bo, there he is. I just got done running an ad for you. But yeah, if you're new to the channel or anything like that, I do have a Tooth and Tails events section under the stream you're watching right now. There's a link to the Pocketwatch Discord. If you're not in the Pocketwatch Discord, you got to be in there. That's where all the information, the news, anything Tooth and Tail related is going on. If if it's a random hour of the day and you're looking for somebody to beat down on, it's always a good place to find people to play with. Additionally, I got links for the role-playing game and the next upcoming events there as well. All right, shout-outs are over. Let's keep this show moving. All right, Iris versus Dizon, okay? Listen, Jed Erickson's a meme machine. This guy is really good. Vincent and Bratmo are always doing crazy things. Iris and Dizon are a couple tryhards. Let's see what they're up to in this match. Spawning in the bottom, we've got Dizon. And his opponent up top, Yoposaurus, a.k.a. Iris. Alright, Iris sticking to those fox guns. I like to see it. Getting the fox out of the box. We see some more snakes here. Snake Skunk has been pretty popular tonight. Lots of toad play as well. And I'm excited for the wolf too. The wolf kind of fell out of the meta for a bit. But we're seeing it a little more often. We saw, gosh, I can't remember who it was, but they ran double tier 3. Maybe it was Protocam, where I think they had like Wolf Badger. Didn't quite get to. It's always the dream, running a double tier 3 deck, but it's not always the reality. Sometimes it's nice to have the flexibility of being able to say, okay, maybe I build the Badger or the Boar or whatever 2 tier 3 you have, but getting them both out in a game is rarer than I would like, unfortunately. So I always get like really hyped when I see people with double tier 3. But I always have to kind of refrain myself, like, okay, it's probably not going to happen. Maybe it'll happen. Happens every now and then. But we don't see that this game. Pretty standard stuff so far. I think both these deck compositions look pretty reasonable. Nothing crazy here. The spawn is fantastic for Iris. He's got this second base natural on the high ground right outside. He's got a nice moat to slow down any attack from his opponent. He's got this nice little pocket base that is like slightly, actually it's fairly vulnerable. You know, if Dizon was being shisty, maybe comes over here with some snakes or something later on and pokes at it. 8 farm into a tier 1, into a tier 2, probably into another tier 1 from both players here. Okay, the third tier 1 Warren from Dizon kind of signals to me that he might be looking for some aggression. I was going to say, like, opening up, like, 8 farm, tier 1, tier 2, tier 1 doesn't really signal, like, a 1 base all-in, nor a quick expansion. I think that's a pretty robust opening that you can kind of go either direction with. And, okay, now we see Dizon getting the Gristmill. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I was going to say, getting that third tier 1 so quickly kind of signaled to me maybe he wants to put on some aggression, but maybe I'm overthinking it. Yeah, just decides to get this this base over here. No, okay, decides for the base super in the back. Gonna be hard for Iris to scout that base has even been taken. And it's gonna be hard to attack. Gotta walk through all this water. Keep in mind, water does heal you. So, you know, maybe if Iris, like, positioned his army over here, it might be more difficult than you think for Dizon to come in and finish it up. And if Dizon gets caught off guard, it's going to be real hard for Dizon to come over here and defend this Gristmill, right? Like, if Dizon realizes what Iris is doing when Iris is already, like, over here, then it's going to be too late. But I like this kind of thing. I always think it's interesting when players choose a bit, well, there's a lot of reasons Dizon chose that one, but one of the benefits is that he can keep this natural base for like the 3rd or 4th expansion. Like, go ahead and mine out this one, go ahead and mine out that one, and then in the late game when things start getting really weird and really scrappy, you know, you've got less area to try to worry about and defend when you're crunched up here. Meanwhile, Iris, everything looks just kind of A-okay on his side of the map. You know, takes the natural, builds a few farms. Neither player overcommitting to farms. Nice scout here from Iris. He's been on top of his scouting. Probably came in at Dizon's main and was scratching his head for a minute. Like, you've got something somewhere. And goes ahead and does the rounds. Finds that additional base. No tier 3 yet. And no move out or anything like that. Iris going to go ahead and grab that 3rd Gristmill before fully saturating his 2nd. That's kind of interesting. If anything, that would kind of signal to me that he plans on saturating that 2nd base very, very quickly. But I guess I'm wrong. I wonder why Iris invested 60 food into this. See, normally I don't, how do I put it? Like, I don't, oh, okay, I guess he's just trying to spread it out. I think he's trying to give Dizon false information. I think his hope is that Dizon comes over here, sees that this base is missing 3 farms, and typically in this phase of the game, you're trying to, like, farm match, or ideally stay, like, 1 or 2 farms ahead. If you get too many farms ahead, you leave yourself vulnerable to an attack. If you get farms behind, well, you know, I don't think I have to explain why that's bad. But here, Iris basically has a fully saturated 2nd, but he's not showing it. He's showing, you know, a little more than half saturation on that 2nd base, and that's cool. I don't hate it, you know? I get it. Tier 3 on the way for both players. Have either player scouted the enemy's Tier 3, I guess is the big question right now. At this phase of the game, it's kind of to be expected, you know? Ooh, this is, yeah, Dizon, alright. This is what I was talking about earlier. I love, this is one of my favorite things about Tooth and Tail. This can be so frustrating to play against, but it's really what makes this a unique RTS game. You know, this map gen, you gotta look out for things like this. And really nice control here from Dizon. Gonna just rally these snakes over. He knows it's gonna get the job done. Just goes ahead and goes home. Continues the macro. Gonna get supply blocked on his wolf a little bit here, which is a bit of a deal because the Fox is about to be out for Iris, and Iris is one of the best players with Fox in the game. So this is gonna be deadly. Now Dizon does have things like chameleons. You can set up that classic chameleon trap where you set your chameleons somewhere where you think the Fox is gonna run through and then they bop them. Also, the snake is, I feel like the snake's a pretty hard counter to the Fox. Keep in mind, the Fox does outrange the snake, but once that snake hits the Fox once, you know, Fox doesn't have a whole lot of HP, gets slowed down, and normally you get that second tag, and, you know, that's all she wrote. But here comes the micro here from Iris. Going to pick off a couple units here and there. Dizon just needs to buy time. I was going to say he's probably not too worried about losing a tier 1 or 2 every now and then, but cannot just let Iris take Warrens for free. Commits to a big engagement. Nice control backing up here from Iris. This army getting really slowed down through the choke point. Iris enjoyed a bit of a concave, convex situation there, but now the Wolf is out, and I don't think Iris was expecting this. The Wolf is fantastic against the Fox, going to give those units that Swift buff to catch up with it, make it a little less abusive on how much it can micro, but so far Iris is doing a great job getting plenty of value out of this Fox and evening things out. You know, Dizon did get a ton of value earlier when he knocked out this third base. I guess Iris didn't like overcommit to it. He only lost, you know, less than 180 food because that was an investment, but he was, you know, gaining some resources off it over time. But what I'm really worried about for Dizon here is that he's losing these Warrens over and over. You know, that's a lot of Warrens Iris has come in here and taken already. I think like 4 or 5 of them have gone down. It's a bit of a unfortunate situation for Dizon here. He doesn't, well, I guess if he really wanted, he could have put some Warrens over here. I think he's trying to save some room in his main base for like tier 2 and tier 3, that sort of thing. But he doesn't have a whole lot of good real estate to build those tier 1 Warrens to begin with. And we're getting into 3 bases here. So I feel like we kind of got a proper match on our hands. According to the army value graph, the players are fairly even. The tech looks pretty close. I think Iris has a bit of a lead here. I'm not so sure. Like, I feel like Iris has been taking the better engagements. You know, getting those Warrens really helped. But you also can't downplay the damage that Dizon got over here for free. That was pretty big. Iris going to go ahead and grab that full scout of Dizon's base. Make sure there's nothing like an additional tier 3. Kind of keep an eye on how many tier 2 are there. Iris is also aware of the third base here in the back. I don't think he's scouted. Yeah, he hasn't got to see the farm count on that yet. But at this phase of the game, I don't think it's as critical. I think where you really, really need to be on top of your scouting is like when we're transitioning into that second base. Because there's a lot of shenanigans that can be done there. You know, you could take a second Gristmill, fake out your opponent, not even build a farm. You could take 8 farms super quickly. You could try to be more conservative and just kind of take a couple at a time while you build up an army. A lot of different ways you can go about getting into a second base. And yeah, I don't know. Like, not taking this base is probably going to bite Dizon in the butt here. Because imagine he did take that, right? Like, it would have been mined out. This base is essentially mined out now. And Iris has some units that are really good at kind of poking in and poking out in the form of the snakes and the fox. Like, this is very, very easy for Iris to just come up here, bam, you know, doof down a pig, run away. Come in, rinse and repeat, bam, doof down another pig. So taking this as a 4th base, like, I liked it on paper at the beginning, but with this army comp, I feel like it's going to be rough. You know, Dizon's really got to... Whoever gains control of this high ground here is really going to run away with the game. And this standing army from Iris is looking pretty disgusting. Iris is going to posture forward, start putting the pressure on, start knocking out these turrets, start knocking out some units in between the engagements. Here come the units from Dizon, though, moving forward. Lots of skunk gas, lots of wolf buffs here. And a lot of Iris's army is just getting railed. Well, that went much better for Dizon than I thought it would. I mean, keep in mind, you know, most of Dizon's army is gone as well, but he kept more of his critical units alive. He came out of that with several tier 2 still alive. Meanwhile, I think Dizon just must have got some really good toad connections on top of the skunk gas, right? And just had a lot of like burst AoE very, very quickly. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, the graph states, you know, they traded fairly evenly. But that went better for Dizon than I thought it would. Oh, gonna come in, gets that snake tag. That's what I was talking about earlier. Once you get that one tag, the fox is crippled. The fox goes down. And Dizon looking for blood, pushing through. He might have enough momentum here to keep pushing forward. Iris is not going to be able to defend his 9 o'clock base anymore, but needs to be careful not to overextend. He's got to keep this wolf alive. That snake is coming in! I was worried for a second because of the water. Again, if that snake would have got that tag on the wolf, man. That wolf gets slowed, gets another tag on it, and eventually is going to be poisoned to death. Ah, you did it, man. Thanks for the bits, dude. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Alright, Dizon moving forward. Yet again. Oh, but this time the wolf is going to go down. This is getting scrappy. Dizon really wants to knock this base out. This base is Iris's lifeline in this match. But the snake is here as well. These toads poison. I thought maybe they get the engagement, but Iris, miracle worker here, keeping it alive, and I think Dizon might be overextending. Okay. This is a really technical part. These players need to decide how they want to sell things off. You can see all the red. Yeah, both players really, you kind of have to go back down. Tooth and Tail is interesting because it's like a game of waves, right? Like you build up, especially if there's not a lot of engagements in the early game like we had this game, right? Like you build up to these massive deathball armies, but you run out of economy so quickly, you know, you're not going to be able to rebuild in a minute or two this army you were building all game long. And in this late game situation where you have all these warrens, it's really important which ones you decide to sell and which ones you decide to keep. Like, for example, you can see both players getting rid of their tier 3 warrens. Very smart decision making. There's no way you're going to invest into trying to get one of those units out again. And another kind of failed attack here for Dizon as Iris holds strong. Yeah, and this base is still here. That's a good point, but Dizon, nice scout. He does see that it's back up and running. And he can pull that old trick again if he manages to get some snakes out. Oh gosh, I can't believe this game is still going on. Yeah, Dizon overcommitted a little bit in these past couple engagements, I feel like. It's easy to backseat game, or, you know, I've got the omnipotent God mode here, you know, right? You can see everything. But, like, when Dizon was pushing through, crushed this base, you know, murked that fox, I think he made a mistake by trying to push in. I think he could have went down, taken out that base. The problem was he's certainly aware that, like, he tried to go for the killing blow instead of going for guaranteed damage. If he would have went for the guaranteed damage, you probably would have won this game. But you can't blame him. You know, it looks really good for Dizon there. It's just the defender's advantage is so powerful, especially with this moat here, especially with this high ground, and units like snakes that can really turn a fight around with the right positioning. So many toads here from Iris. Oh man, this looks deadly. Oh gosh, so many toads. Alright, let's see it. The connection, nice pulling back here from Dizon, but all the tier 2 units are up. Those toads really didn't connect. Wow, phenomenal play from Dizon. Good lord. I mean, Iris still comes out on top, kinda? I thought that was going to be way worse, though. Very good pullback there from Dizon. Keeping him in this game, but again, another overcommitment. He probably got happy that he was able to deal with those toads without them really connecting. But, you know, Iris still had enough advantage, still got out of there with a couple tier 2 alive, and had the reinforcements coming in. It wasn't a situation where he could really come in for the win there. Oh gosh, we're getting down to starvation. Both players just with bare bone units here, bare bone comps. Iris looking for something. If I'm Iris, I'm probably gonna commit to one last hurrah. You know, maybe sell off a Squirrel Warren here. maybe decide between skunks or snakes and not try to go for both. I don't know. One skunk and one snake is decent. These are similar compositions, similar units that both players have, but Iris does have those toads, and those toads can really make or break an engagement if they have the right positioning, the right connections. Oh, the snake gets the connection on the skunk. Skunk goes down before the fight even starts. Dizon comes in here and commits in, though, and is taking this fight under the gas. A couple toads hit, but Dizon, somehow, some way. Oh my gosh, is that snake? The snake lives with 1 HP! Oh my god, Dizon, sign my mouse pad, dude. I think he did it here. He did it, man. Iris is starving out. He sells off the skunks. He sells off the toads, just trying to build whatever he can. Nice utilization of that water healing. And Dizon's taking it slow. I think this is smart. I think you just go home. You sell off the skunks. You build maybe a couple more squirrels. Oh my gosh. So many engagements this match. I really was surprised on the way they end out. And Iris sacrificing this high ground. His units are not in position. This high ground's very, very important, especially with this gristmill here that's going to tank a lot of damage. But Iris does get his units up in position. However, it might be a little bit too late. Nice spread out on all the different tags on the squirrels by Dizon. Really trying to just eke out every little piece of value that he can out of the snakes. And that's going to be all she wrote. Iris left with nothing left. Going to have to tap. What an epic game. Alright, that was badass. 18-minute tooth and tail match. That's super rare. Okay, real quick break, guys. Like a minute. And we will keep it going. We got a 2v2 coming up next. Be right back. Okay, I am back. Alright. Alright. Tell me to drink water after that one. It was the opposite. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Good to see y'all in the chat. Kalaru, Master Stealth, Tosh, P-Boop. Valeris is here. What's up, Valeris? You did it, man, of course. I met him through my wife's stream. Cool to see you hanging out. I think you've heard it talked about that I do this sort of thing. I haven't done it in a little bit. Trying not to interact too much with the chat while I cast. I think it makes for better casting. I do agree with that. Let you guys have your own discussion, you know, without me chiming in on it. I think that's it. I think we're... I don't hate all of you. I just hate you, Master Stealth. Alright. Don't you owe me a I want to see some Master... I want to see some Master Moles. Master Stealth, you need to send me a replay. Guys, send me some replays more often, and I'll do this more often. I know I always say that, but for sure, if I you know, check my Discord, check my Gmail, and see a lot of submissions, that'll encourage me to get this stream on a bit more often. I do enjoy casting still. It's a lot of fun. Alright, without any further ado, I think we do one more match, and then I'll shout out things again. Let's hop into it. Game number 6. Okay, in the bottom, we've got P-Boop and Ziggy. And their opponents up top, Dino and Parsival. Alright, Premium Bo, stealing my heart here. He's got Boar, Fox, and Artie. Okay, but Ziggy's got that Fox Owl Artie. Dino with an Artie. Parsival didn't get the memo, man. This was artillery day. And he showed up with a mine. It's like you're going to a Halloween costume with your date, right? And they tell you to dress up as Caesar, and then you come as like a big ranch bottle. You know what I mean? A big salad dressing bottle rather than Julius Caesar. This is a terrible joke, but I tried. Parzival's got mines. You know, he's got some kind of defense, but it's not the artillery. Okay. All right, nothing crazy yet. You always got to keep your eye on the Warren count in the early game. It's a bit more figured out, I want to say, for 1v1. You know, every now and then we see like 5 farm doubles and that sort of thing. But for the most part, people just open up those 8 farm Warrens. And but the 2v2 meta is a lot different. Most of the time you're a bit more hesitant about just going up to 8 farms. You know, straight up. So we'll see. Nothing crazy yet. You know, players got up to... All right, here we go. Oh, Dino's teasing me. Oh, wait. There it is. All right. Fox on the way. Fox reporting for duty here shortly. Okay, other than that, it's aight. Looks like both teams... You know, nobody looks screwed, right, from the spawn. Both teams have pretty good access to second bases here. A little bit of mines coming down from Parsival. Ziggy did scout that mine, so let's see if he can just kind of, sort of... Yeah, that was good. Just losing 1 squirrel. But I don't think they've seen the fox. Oh, they have. Somebody got that scout off. This is weird that Premium... Okay, Premium Bo gets a pretty quick fox, but... He's no Dino. I'm kind of shocked that Premium Bo hasn't done anything crazy, like proxy Artie Rush or something. Oh, I bet you could have done that too here. Like take this base, you know what I mean? Maybe try to get your teammate to kind of distract over there while you put an artillery cannon like on this high ground. All right, Fox is about 25 seconds out. We're going to see that soon. Yeah, Premium Bo. I was talking about this earlier, where a lot of times we see people take the double tier 3, but they don't actually get both units out. Here we see Premium Bo throwing down both those tier 3, but this is 2v2. And 2v2 is like Mad Max, you know. It's there's no rules here. Dino going for Fox number 2. 1 Fox is not enough. Let's see, is there any kind of anti-fox repellent spray from blue and yellow? The owl does decent. I was chatting with the gentleman the other day. He said owl's a bit better, you know. Owl's been on a bit of a slouch recently, but it's slowly coming back. In the old school days, there was kind of this, you know, cyclical, almost rock, paper, scissors. Always a bad term to apply, in my opinion, but it was kind of like the fox would do well against the badger would do well against the owl would do well against the fox, but that's always just on paper, you know. Situations, positioning, and all sorts of things really makes a difference. Dino's got to be careful, but he is a good player. He's not just going to let his fox die. Artie coming up from Dino, but it is pretty defensive. Fox is here for P-Boop, and the boar's almost here as well. Ziggy getting an owl, Parsival getting the wolf, so everybody on their way to tier 3. Lots of squirrels here. But now we've got the boar. And looks like Ziggy and Parsival kind of have halfway there on full saturation on second base. Meanwhile, Dino has the second but hasn't got to commit to it yet. He's been going pretty hard on Foxes and Arties here. Premium Bo finally getting a second base of his own. And another No, that was just Commander. Nice arty positioning there on the high ground. So many foxes this game with artillery cannon. Okay. The arties, of course, very good at zoning out units like Fox. I mean, I guess in theory you can like bob and weave and try to dodge the hits like you do with a ferret, you know? Ooh, we got the wolf here. We got some buffed up lizards. But we're just kind of getting to some death ball scenarios. There was a... It was a proper skirmish earlier on, but for the... Oh, man! P-boop! Slapping that nerd down. Get out of here. Dino losing a fox. I wasn't watching closely enough. I guess that fox was already injured a little bit. Or maybe like a squirrel got a pop shot off on it. Okay. These buffed up lizards, man, they're super fast. Trying to do something, but getting really discouraged from that artillery. This artillery is just so good. So good from Ziggy here. It's kind of good, like, offensively and defensively. But Ziggy moving out without Premium Bow, losing the owl. That's a big victory here for green and red. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Like, yeah, they got the owl, but they lost the fox earlier. They've taken some poor engagements, I think. But yeah, Ziggy just lost so much. Actually, yeah, I guess green and red are ahead right now. But Premium Bow's just got such a scary army here. And green making that similar mistake of going in without the ally. Where are all the squirrels here from Dino? He's got them, but he's not rallying them forward. The artillery cannon does go down. But Parsifal loses most of his army for it. The wolf is not here anymore. And this is giving Premium Bow an opportunity to move forward, try to get something done. And blue and yellow have combined forces. Do they just have enough to slay through their enemies? 2 HP on this fox. Some pigeons over here to heal it up. And green and red are going to push him back for now. How are the economies doing here? About half a base each for green and red. I think Premium Bow is probably in the best spot. It's got a full base. Ziggy's not too far behind. Smart sell on the Owl Warren from Ziggy. Dino reinvesting in the fox. Parsifal, he's got to sell off this tier 3. No, he's going to sell something else. He really wants to get another wolf. Okay. Okay. Dino's just got a fox and a dream. Let's see if it'll work. There it is! Oh, wait. Aw, I thought that was an aggressive arty at first glance. Yeah, I don't think these artillery cannons are doing a whole lot for Dino in this position. They are nice defensively, but they're not zoning. You know, they're not giving him a better position on the map. They're not helping his ally. Like, if I'm blue and yellow here and I see these two arty, I'm going to say, great, I'm just going to attack over here. Some fox shots going back and forth. These falcons are not in a good spot this game. Fox is very, very strong against falcon. And here we go, Premium Bow trying to find the angle. Now, if he runs in here, that mine is going to hit it, but I don't think Parsifal's in the right spot, but it looks like Premium Bow actually knows about the mine, and that choke point with the boar was absolutely insane. Trying to really come in here and focus fire down on the fox, but that boar just does so much damage. Parsifal's army gets deleted. Meanwhile, we have another skirmish over here, however, where Dino is pushing in against Ziggy. Premium Bow decides to come home and try to defend his friend. Think he's got to sell off one of these fox warrens, but no, it looks like he could try to save up for another one. But Parsifal is really, really crippled. So is Ziggy, but Ziggy's got a bit more to his name at the moment. This is really, again, about Dino and P-Boop at the moment. However, Ziggy YOLOing in here, trying to get something done, does end up killing off a last few of these farms that Parsifal has. Another big engagement coming in. The fox going down for Premium Bow. He's almost got a board here, but it's not quite out just yet. The fox from Dino doing what it does best. They really shine in these scrappy sorts of situations where there's not a whole lot of units. Yeah, I don't know, man. Dino's starting to look pretty good in this game. Rainbow has a boar and has another fox on the way. But this fox should be able to just kite this boar. Yeah, Dino's not going to run into that with a very squirrel-based army. I like this from Parsifal. I actually like this a lot. I think that's very smart what he's doing. Just trying to get together whatever amount of lizards that he can, and then maybe try to do something like a backdoor approach and try to hit Premium Bow in the bacon there. But every lizard is very, very important at this phase for Parsifal if he wants to entertain any idea of trying to get up to a critical mass. Meanwhile, it was kind of, you know, critical on Dino for these arties earlier, but it is keeping him relatively safe. It looks like he sold one of them off. Premium Bow going to use this opportunity, though, to come in here and just try to knock Parsifal out. However, changes his mind a little bit. Doesn't want to give up too much map positioning to Dino. He knows right when he moves over, Dino's going to move in. I'd like to see him maybe just, like, send the boar, you know? Like, rally the boar and keep the rest of the army here. Ziggy pulling his weight in the match. Killing off one gristmill. Parsifal knows what's in store. He needs to get another gristmill up. The building gristmill won't stop him from getting knocked out, but Premium Bow doesn't commit to trying to get Parsifal out of the game. I don't hate it from Premium Bow. Oh god, but is he just gonna starve out anyways? Oh my gosh. No, he's not gonna be able to. He's probably spamming that A button, but just barely doesn't have enough time. And now we're in a 1v2. Ziggy is pretty crippled, but he's got 8 squirrels. He's got a falcon. These are things. Things that help. But I think Premium Bow, his army's kind of toe-to-toe with Dino. And it's going to take a big engagement. The boar absolutely demolishing all these squirrels here. But the double fox remains for Dino. That is deadly. The idea with the double fox is that it will one-shot a fox of your opponent. However, these foxes are hurt, so, you know, Premium Bow's fox could just dunk on them as well for the moment. I think Premium Bow's just taking his time. However, I think from here, in the 1v2, there's not a lot of hope left for Dino. Oh. I like the Ziggy. I'm helping. Alright, that's going to be it. They tap out. Premium Bow and Ziggy take the 2v2. Alright guys, we got a few more matches left. Figured I'd take this opportunity to do one more advertisement, guys. The gentleman is at it again with the 21 rooms events. We've got Raiders, we've got Guardians. It's kind of similar to the 12 Duels Challenge, but there's a lot more strategy involved on the Raiders parts. It's a little bit of like a board game hybrid. It's going to be a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, all those decisions will end up lining up to a bunch of Tooth and Tail matches, which will be streamed either by me here or by WoodyPun7, aka Big Pimpin' Tosh, on his Twitch channel. The link for the Discord on that is underneath the stream you're watching right here in the Tooth and Tails events section. And then Premium Bow, everybody's favorite mod, has also published his tabletop RPG that he's been working very, very hard on, that is set in the Tooth and Tail universe. So give that a shot if you like games like Dungeons & Dragons and role-playing and that sort of thing, and really enjoy the Viashul world. Have some fun with that. I think there's a lot of people playing it, to be honest. It shouldn't be too hard to get in there and find a group, but I always tell people, don't be shy. Even if you're not, you know, a super try-hard player, it's always so much fun to get involved in these events. I've casted and been a part of so many tournaments in the scene, and there's never it's never boring. It's never just like a, single limb best of 3, you know, all the way through the bracket. You know, it's always some crazy concept, and Gentleman's really pulling no punches this time. I think this might be the craziest tournament we've had yet, with kind of an Indiana Jones raiding this lost pyramid, looking for treasure, making decisions, that sort of aspect to it. So check that out, guys. You can find the Discords where that's at under the stream you're watching right now. And as always, keep submitting replays to me. You guys are great about it when I go in and ask for them, as this guy pointed out earlier. But don't be shy. If you have a fun game of Tooth and Tail, just shoot it over to me either on Discord as Delthius or to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. And the more replays I get, the more often I will stream, basically. Okay, we got 3 more left to do tonight. Let's knock them out. And, oh yeah, I didn't mention the one-shot. You're right, Premium Bow. There's one more commercial. Next Friday night, we are going to be playing the tabletop RPG here on this channel, here on Tooth and Tail TV. Premium Bow has put together a one-shot campaign, and that is going to be a lot of fun. I think everybody else is going to have pre-made characters, but I believe I'm going to be making a character live on the air with the help of Premium Bow. Kind of so people can make fun of me during the character creation process, but no, all joking aside, like, I think mainly the idea behind that is kind of to help people. You know, it's a bit of a tutorial of character creation. You know, you can watch how I have to go through it, and maybe that'll give you some pointers when you make your own character. I should be a Toad. Oh man, I should be a Toad. I should totally be a Toad. That would be hilarious. Can you be a Toad? I think you could be a Toad. Last I checked. I know the game's gone through some iterations. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Next Friday night, we will be playing the tabletop RPG here on this channel. It's going to be some good stuff. Whole new meaning to one-shot. Scuba-Doo! Oh man, Toad is a playable race. Ooh, that is tempting. You know what? You know what? I'm committing, dude. I'm going to play a Toad. Let's do it. Toads Magodes. Match number 7. Let's get into it. Alright. On the left, we've got Equal Mark. Crap, I just saw who it was. And on the right, it's Big Pipitosh. I think the name was like in the video description. Oh gosh, I'm not sure who it is. Can I be a vomited mouse? That would be great. Just blah the whole time. We need some more owls. I guess we did have owl previously, but Ziggy didn't have it up long enough. It's Onyx. Thank you. Thank you very much. I was just gonna call them Hopper. All right, so we got some Tosh versus Onyx action here. Snake Mine. And that's all the overlap in Chameleon. Snake Mine Chameleon coming down from both players. Tosh has got that classic Badger Pigeon combo. The Pigeons are also very nice in general with Chameleons. And we have another match without squirrels. And I love this, actually. I think it's really, really cool that we're seeing some comps and some builds where it's viable to play without squirrel. Lizard Toad seems like a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy playing lizards. Just the I like really high skill ceiling type things, or like high possibilities. You know, lizards just bring so much flexibility to your deck, and concept like Lizard Mole is really cool on paper. You know, because I guess the dream is you go up against Squirrel Toad, and you use the moles out front to kind of buffer the Toad hits, and then run the lizards in. We saw Jed Erickson do that in a previous match with Chameleons. It's easier said than done, for sure. Alright, so far we got a bit of a macro game on our hands. Nothing crazy just yet. No tier 2 Warrens even. And are both players aware? Yeah, Onyx got a good scout. Tosh got a good scout. So a bit of a gentleman's agreement here. Just gonna take things slow. Make it happen, you know. And I like having a bit of lizards here in these kinds of situations where neither player is trying to do any kind of big hard engages, because then if you're Onyx, you know, you can take these lizards and try to maybe do something out in the map. You know, use your actions efficiently. You know, take your lizards over here. Maybe see if you can run in, grab a pig, run out, that sort of thing. But that always is risky, of course, since you can put yourself out of position. A couple defensive mines coming down for both players, and we do see the Snake Warren here from Tosh. Ooh, Onyx. Big baller Onyx here. Going for the full saturation, and Tosh is just going to follow suit without scouting. So both players really want to play greedy here. Does Onyx see it? It looks like he's going to be able to. He sees enough. I think he could probably extrapolate that the other farms have been taken as well. So yeah, straight up into big boy economies here. 2 fully saturated bases from both players. Nice mine coverage. I don't think either player has really seen the mines. Of course, as I say that, Tosh scouts that one. But if you're Onyx, for example, you don't know that there's several mines right here in front of the Warrens. Man, I feel like Tosh is being so greedy. He's not getting punished for it. You know, going to second base, straight 8 farms on that, into double tier 2. On the back of just a couple tier 1 Warrens, into a Badger. And Tosh is feeling confident. But hey, Onyx hasn't done anything to stop it. And instead of going for more tech, Onyx is deciding to go way, way up on economy. Now, Tosh doesn't have any crazy splash like Toads or Boar. He does have the mines, which could get the job done. But I wonder if Onyx is just going to build like 100 lizards. That would be amazing. That'd make my night. Ooh, I like it. Couple moles over here. Are 9 moles enough to just bop down the gristmill? If Tosh is out of position, Tosh is going to move forward, maybe try to do a bit of mine sweeping, maybe try to pick off a lizard or 2. I don't know, it feels like 9 moles could do it, right? With the structure crit? I feel like 9 moles could do it. He's not even going to wait for 9 moles. He's just going to go with 6. And Tosh is where? Oh yeah, 9 moles would totally do it. These 6 moles are getting it done. And that is a huge blow to Tosh's economy. Very nicely done here from Onyx. And Tosh is probably furious. I can feel the rage. I can feel the rage from here. I would be furious. Double Badger, though. Tosh doesn't need an economy anymore. He's already bought the toys that he needs to put together a strong push. He's got a decent amount of pigeons. He's got some good support. What is going on with this poor Badger? There it goes. This is like he just built this gaming rig and then got fired from his job, you know. It's like, well, I already bought this awesome computer. I should be good for now. That's basically what happened to Tosh here. He's got double Badger, but he doesn't have an economy. So Tosh has got to make the big plays. So many lizards here, and without any things like toads or skunks or the big AoE, isn't going to be enough. Nice surround, but no. Doesn't quite have the magic number. Apparently it's not 36. I'm not even sure if he had 36, or maybe he just had some building Warrens there. The double Badger from Tosh moving forward, getting poisoned. There are a lot of snakes, but the pigeons doing their job. Going to keep them alive, yes. And I don't know if Onyx has the critical mass anymore. Tosh is starving. He is all in on this push. He did already take this gristmill, though, so the starving's not a big deal. He can very, very easily just go home, sell off a Warren, build a farm, and be fine. So I think this is the right play from Tosh. Trying to keep the momentum going. Trying to prevent Onyx from building enough lizards. 2 HP, 1 HP, 1 Badger goes down. This poison from the snakes, 3 stacks of poison. Oh my god, 3 stacks of poison, 2 HP left. The lizards finish him off, and can Tosh make it happen? No economy. Sells off the 2 tier 3s and still doesn't have any money because all his Warrens begin producing. Does get a farm, so he's not starving out anymore, but 21 lizards from Onyx here. That's a lot of lizards. That is a, that's like 3 handfuls of lizards, right? Yeah, I don't think Tosh is gonna have enough. Really cool kind of last stand push there. I was pretty hyped. I wasn't sure who was gonna come out on top there, but the snakes coming out just in time, getting those stacks of poison. The lizard's also a fantastic unit against something like a badger that's gonna kite. That extra movement speed really makes a difference, and Onyx is able to secure the match. Okay. Let's keep it grooving. Match number 8. Spawning on the left, we've got Lego Man, 96, and his opponent up top, Blue Coon. All right, Blue Coon. I'm digging it. I'm digging the badger owl, no squirrel, ferret turret. Let's see it, my man. Meanwhile, Lego Man, it's got that barbed wire, got the wolf. Lego Man uses barbed wire a lot. He kind of reminds me of like Amistria a little bit, who kind of utilize these underpicked units like the barbed wire, like kind of regardless of how strong they are in the meta. And it might actually work out. You know, Blue Coon doesn't have anything that can really easily deal with it. I feel like barbed wire is fairly effective against lizard, but it's generally frowned upon at higher tiers of play, mainly because it's so map dependent. You know, if you can throw down like a few pieces of barbed wire and really get a lot of value out of it, that's great. But you know, imagine if you have like Blue Coon spawn, for example, and you have barbed wire. It's like, well, you're not going to build like a whole lieu of barbed wire to try to cover up all this surface area. So I'm interested. I'm interested if we can see Lego Man make it work. Again, I like it when people can be creative and make it happen. You know, for example, maybe just a couple pieces right here, you know, to dissuade lizards from trying to come in from that angle. I think things like that are great. Speaking of lizards, Blue Coon moving forward. Not going to be able to get this Warren in time, but he is going to make Lego Man a little bit worried. The squirrel out here, though, going to be able to defend quite nicely. The Blue Coon's gonna have to back up for now. Yeah, you know, to be fair, like even just a couple pieces like this out in the open, sometimes the pathing, you know what I mean? If you're not really on top of it, your lizards just might kind of follow your commander right through that regardless. So that's cool. That's cool. 60 food, though, you know, you got to keep that in mind. Second base is from both players here. Lego Man going into them sneaky snakes. I just thought of an idea, but it's so dumb. I was thinking of like tier 1 snakes. They're little like baby snakes. Wouldn't they be so cute? Maybe they're like swift, but they like barely do any damage. They like vroom around. Little pygmy snakes. I need to get some skins again, man. I'm quite vanilla here. I typically take skins off, I think, when I do like bigger event tournament type stuff. Nicely done by Lego Man there. Sniping that pig. Alright, let's see where this game goes. Both players kind of building into 2 bases, half saturation here. Both players kind of being careful to not oversaturate. Are they doing a good job? Kind of, yeah. Looks like they're pretty on top of how invested either player is in their economy. However, the Badger has been thrown down by Blue Coon. Or I'm sorry, the Owl, rather. And how is the Owl going to fare? I feel like it could do well. It's going to be rough if the wolf does get out. You know, of course, the snakes could get a couple key tags onto that owl. But if used correctly, if Blue Coon can kind of, jump in with it, jump out with it, and constantly keep these mice harassing. The mice are going to do great against the barbed wire, trying to get some free value there. Second base economy really getting kind of finished off. Oh no, my controller died. Whoa, I gotta switch to mouse and keyboard observing. Ugh. Okay, we could do it. It's not gonna be as smooth as it was. I apologize. Yeah, this is a pretty bold base from Lego Man as a third. I don't really blame him. I guess he could have taken that like 6 or 7 o'clock base. But opts for this one instead. This one's kind of right into the crosshairs, and I don't think... Oh gosh, I don't... Okay, X. I do remember a little bit. I was like, I don't remember any of the hotkeys to see player vision. I don't think he's, Oh geez. Okay, Z is that. Alright. How do I, like, say I want to see Lego Man's vision? Alright, I can't do it, you guys. I just gotta drop it, or else the quality of the cast will go down lower. But either way, he's gonna know about the owl now. So much barbed wire here, too. It's gonna do great against the lizards, but the mice should be able to gain value against it. However, if Lego Man is in position to defend this barbed wire, it's gonna be a great buffer against the mice if the mice can't actually take it down, or, worst case scenario, he, like, loses a piece of barbed wire that's, equivalent to 1 squirrel. For a round of mice, that ain't half bad. The wolf is on the way, but these snakes getting maybe a little bit too far forward. Nice micro there from Lego Man. Gonna be able to save those in time. And everything is going well so far. I don't know if this owl strategy is gonna work. The lizard's getting pretty countered by the barbed wire. The snakes being able to move forward, kind of poke in and prod in and get some damage done. One of the snakes did go down. Third base here for Blue Coon. This is rough. Second owl is about finished. I was gonna say, one owl is kind of meh, but once you start building into several of them, is really where it starts to add up. And owl number 2 has hit the board, so Blue Coon can just hang on. Now he's much more of a harassment threat here, and eventually, if the game goes long enough, he starts getting into like 3 or 4 owls. It's going to be really, really hard for Lego Man to do anything about that. Moving forward, maybe a little bit too far, but gets back just in time, saves all those snakes again, I believe. Yeah, this is looking better and better for Lego Man here. As he's pushing in, he's got the wolf to give those units a steroid. Stack of poison on the owl, gets down, and Blue Coon decides it's not going to happen and taps out. Ooh, batteries? No batteries?
Just see if that would work.
It's alright.
I guess not.
Alright guys, we got one more match left. I do apologize, my observing is going to go downhill a bit. I bought some fancy new wireless controllers and mine died on me, of course. I think I'll give the announcements one more time, because if I do it after this game, nobody's going to be watching anymore, right? So we've got 3 things coming up, guys. We've got another competitive Tooth and Tail event. We've got the 21 Rooms Challenge, hosted by Gentleman, and Premium Bow, I think, is doing tournament organization as well. Casting by me, Delthius, here on TnTTV, as well as Tosh, aka Woody Pudding 7, on his channel. And it's kind of similar to the previous duels formats, except this time around there's a bit more strategy involved, a bit more of a board game element. You can sign up as a raider or a guardian. There's lots of rules. It's kind of complex, but should be able to wrap your head around it. I think there's already some guys out there, it's scratching their heads and thinking of ways that they could possibly make things happen in the format. But outside of all the meta, collecting treasures, exploring the pyramid, all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, it is going to come down to matches of Tooth and Tail, which will be hosted either here or on Tosh's channel. And of course, Premium Bow has been working very hard on his tabletop game. He released it to the rest of the community pretty recently. And next Friday nights, we are doing a one-shot campaign here on ToothAndTailTV. I'll be making a character, probably a Toad. I'm thinking Toad. That sounds like fun. So I'm going to make a Toad, and then we're going to do a one-shot, I think, action-packed campaign. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can find either of those things in the Discord. If you look at the Tooth and Tails events section under the stream you're watching now, there are links to both of those things. I'm sure you guys are all aware of these things. I don't know why I hark on this, but maybe not. You know, maybe you never know. You never know. Maybe some people are watching and haven't heard of it, so there you go. All right. Oh, the batteries work? Yeah. Okay, battery. Aw. Worked for like a split second. I got hyped for nothing. Anyways, let's end it on a high note. Two of the strongest players in the scene. Let's hop into match number 9. All right, in the left, we've got the Gentleman. And his opponent to the bottom right, we have this guy. Ooh, this guy rocking the Fox this time around. Meanwhile, Gentleman's got a very heavy Tier 1 style deck. We saw this in the meta some time ago. It was pretty standard to take, you know, like 4 Tier 1. This guy taking 3 Tier 1 as well. It's hard to say too much if this is a standard kind of viable thing these guys have tested, or if they're just kind of trying to pull a fast one on their opponent. You know, I think what's most notable here was we see the Gentleman entirely without Tier 2 in his deck. And I wonder why that is. You know, Gentleman is a very, very strong Lizard player. And again, as I kind of mentioned earlier, Lizards are phenomenal in the deck if you can fit it in, because they just give you so much versatility. You can go for a Lizard base race. You can just like kind of mass Lizards like we saw Onyx do in the previous game. You can build like 6 Lizards and just try to poke and prod, take out a cabin, you know, take out an exposed pig, that sort of thing. Or in some situations too, I even like, you know, let's say they're committing a lot to like Squirrel Toad. I like going Squirrel Lizard, but maybe only making like 3 Lizards, you know, and trying to run my Lizards into their Toads. So I feel like Lizard gives you a lot of options. But Toads, obviously, we've seen a lot of Toad play tonight, so that makes sense. The Pigeon, of course, pairs very nicely with the Badger. But I think what's odd about the Gentleman's deck is just the complete lack of Tier 2. It has been a very long time since I've seen a deck without Tier 2. I'm kind of reminiscing to like the Pile style, you know, where you go all Tier 1 and like a defense, or like all defense and just Lizards. You would do things like that. But I'm curious, and I'm curious because this guy is very well known for his well-timed out, well-executed skunk push. And this is going to be deadly. You know, he's probably, maybe he mixes in a couple moles, maybe not. But this guy already kind of poking and prodding, trying to keep the pressure on. Maybe more so just kind of making sure he knows what the Gentleman is up to. But at the same time, this guy is very, very strong. However, I do feel like he's a little predictable. He does like to do this opener, and he likes to use this deck fairly often. So I'm curious if the Gentleman kind of put together this as an answer to the skunk push, right? Maybe the Gentleman's kind of calculated out Squirrel, Lizard, Toad is what you want against this skunk push from this guy. But I think also, like, I really, really love this opening from this guy. I think it's well timed, and it's not overcommitted. This is what I mean. I think Gentleman crafted this deck specifically to deal with this attack, as these Toads just kind of come through and annihilate everything. Oh my gosh. I did not expect this game to be so short. Maybe it won't be. We'll see. This guy barely hanging on. He's got to keep this skunk alive. 3 HP left. Gonna get it into that water for that extra healing. Alright, so this guy doesn't just straight up die, but that was a hell of an engagement there from the Gentleman. Very, very good Toad connections, and it took me about 2.5 minutes to put the puzzle pieces together, but I guarantee you that's exactly what's happening here from Gentleman's side of things. He knows this guy really likes his skunk pushes, And I believe this composition and this build was put together, and the architecture of it was all around that push, and it crushed it, right? Like, it did very well. Like, this guy's not out of the game though. Keep in mind, the gentleman is investing heavily into toads, which do of course die when they trade with things. So it's hard to really eke out a ton of value. And this map looks really bad for the gentleman. Going to take that 12 o'clock base. I think that's fine. He does have the lizard, so he should have better map control here. And this guy just really on top of his play here. Going to scout it immediately. Again, I apologize. I'm not so good with showing the different visions and stuff. My controller died, so I'm back to mouse and keyboard, and I barely know these hotkeys. Alright, Badger, I think the Badger probably got scouted and then the gentleman sold it. I looked away for a minute. I was starting to read the chat and then I remembered, no, I'm not going to comment on the chat. I'm going to let you guys have your discussion and I will cast. Okay. Nice base up top. Okay, who do I see? Alright, he's going to scout it here regardless. Oh man, not knowing the vision hotkeys correctly is killing me the most, because that is so important. Tooth and Tail is just all about mind games and what information you know. It's interesting because scouting is free, you know, like compared to other RTS games like StarCraft. Maybe you gotta send in an overlord or use a scan that could have been a mule. Like, yeah, scouting is free here, quote unquote, but while you're scouting, you can't be building things. And on top of that, sure, scouting is free, but you also get full refunds from selling things. So it's free for me to tech swap, besides, I suppose, the time that I lose. But this time around, this guy does scout the Badger again. Again, the gentleman sells it off. He's really trying to pull a fast one here. Trying to get him up the creek without a paddle, right? Oh, here we go. Oh, man. Oh, I was wondering if he was going to try to clock him from all the way around. God, that's so much tier 1. This is really going to come down to the toad engagements. Because the squirrel, mole, skunk, pigeon is just a stronger comp on paper than what the gentleman's bringing to the table. But if he gets the correct engagements, and I think he might have there, but that is just so much skunk gas. And the rest of his forces just gets immediately demolished. Damn, those were some decent toe connections, though. And the gentleman just trying to salvage whatever he can, build up enough units to push his opponent back, and he is going to get the important units. All the skunks go down. And a benefit of having this very heavy tier 1 style is your reinforcement rate is quite quick. Gentleman's able to, you know, that almost looked like an impossible position. Like, this guy was right here, he was on the production, he was dealing a lot of damage, but the reinforcement rate for the gentleman was just very quick. He was able to come out and build enough of an army back up, and now this guy's got to wait a long time for these skunks. A nice decision to sell off one of those tier 2s there, build what he can, but he really wants that 4 skunk comp. Maybe this guy is kind of calculated out that 4 skunks is the right number. And it worked well. I mean, he won that last engagement. He just wasn't quite able to finish off the jet. And this is crazy. Alright, can we see another good toe connection here? Just coming straight through the front. One skunk goes down. I think that Warren actually tanked a little bit of it. And I don't know, man. This is looking good for this guy. He's still got a skunk up. Another one reinforcing. Now coming in here and getting the last bit of damage. But again, with all these tier 1 Warrens, the gentleman's able to reproduce an army very quickly. Again, trying to come in, and I just don't think... Gentleman, unfortunately, just doesn't have the transition that he really needed with his style. He kind of came in and really clocked this guy's first push, you know, and maybe that there's a window there for him or something. But just the repeated value of those skunks, he was not able to deal with. All right, everybody, that is it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's always a blast. And yeah, that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. GG's indeed. Don't forget, I guess I might as well advertise one more time. The tabletop RPG from Premium Bow has been released. Check out the Discord for more info of that. We will be playing it next Friday night here on this channel. The gentleman's got the 21 Rooms event coming up. I think we can still sign up for that, but I think it's closing soon. I could be wrong. So if you are interested in that, make sure to check out that Discord and get in it as soon as possible. And as always, keep sending me replays, guys. It's a lot of fun to hang out and do this with y'all. And I think that's it. You're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. And I will see you guys soon. The next thing coming up immediately as far as the Tooth and Tail scene is Woody Pun 7 on Sunday. Is going to be streaming some of like the preseason for the new Gentleman event. Jack the Ripper, you just missed it, man. I'm wrapping up now. Thank you so much, Doug Sluggins. I appreciate it. Again, yeah, definitely check out the Tooth and Tails events section under the stream. If you're not in the Discord, the Pocketwatch Discord, definitely get in there. I got a link to that in my under community. And that's it. Send me replays, guys. And I will see y'all next time. Take care.